Those are our guys. Thank you, fellas. Okay, my next guest is a good friend. I guess you call Richard a professional Irishman, an unconventional rebel, and an absolutely brilliant performer. He's completed 2 films, Unforgiven and Silent Tongue, which are soon to be released. Would you welcome, please, Richard Harris. Well, here we are, Richard. Everything it goes around, doesn't it? Now, I know when you were here the first time, 24, almost a quarter of a century ago, 1968.
68.
68.
God.
Yeah.
Oh, I've done all the shows.
Right.
I've done all the talk shows in America, seen them come and go.
Yeah.
Done them all in England and Australia.
Chat shows, they call them.
Chat shows,
yeah.
And I can walk on and do them. But when I'm doing your show, I'm so nervous.
Why? I don't understand that.
Unbelievable. I don't know why.
I mean, you've been performing all your adult life.
I know, but there we are. I guess it's you, John.
Now, get out of here. You remember what was the first story you told on this show? You remember? Comedians very often remember the routine they did.
The very first story I told on this show was about my first appearance on the English stage in Julius Caesar. When my mother came over.
Go ahead.
I've told it before. I said it again?
Well, it was 24 years ago, wasn't it? Oh, those same old stories.
Oh, God.
Every quarter century, we got to listen to the same material.
Well, it's my first story I ever told on your show, so it must have been the last I told.
So you were in Julius Caesar?
I left Ireland, went to England, and I auditioned, got into this little company called Theatre Workshop, and I was just out of the academy. And really, you know, at that particular stage, all the sort of leading English men were all sort of upper middle class.
Right.
It was just the time that O'Toole and myself and Finney and Bates were breaking through. We were called kitchen sink actors, believe it or not. Now, I was cast at the Marcellus.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, and I'm determined. I'm going to show England what real classic acting really is all about.
Right.
See? Having been trained in it, I'm going to show these upper-class English, Anglo-Saxon stuff shirts how it should really be done. So I'm practicing. I know like 8 lines, and every day I'm going home in the tube station, going to work, and I'm doing the lines. Oh, you blocks, you stones, you worsted, senseless things, knew you not Pompeii. And can you imagine this in a tube station? And people looking at me with madness. Now came the opening night, and my mother came over from Ireland. My little mother. She sat in the front, waiting for her son Dickie to make his appearance, right? And I'm standing off stage, and I can't wait for that curtain to go up till I blaze out and do this thing, okay? So I'm learning, I got my lines in my head, and suddenly the curtain goes up, and the streets of Rome are full of flags and people, and suddenly you're on. And I rush on, and I came out like that, and I stood. I cannot think of a line. Oh. Totally blank. And what am I going to do? I got to get off, and I went, ah, to the audience.
That was it?
And I got to tell you.
That was it?
Yes. Ah. And I ran off, and I heard a little voice from the front saying, my mother saying, isn't he, Mom?
Completely up.
Completely and utterly up.
Now, those audiences who go to see Shakespeare, they know...
Oh, they know the
play.
I'll tell you, there's always a story I wanted to tell on Johnny Carson show. Mm-hmm. And I never got around to telling it, because we always do so much, okay? This is true. I swear to God, it's a true story. I was then in this company, and I was cast as the doctor in Macbeth. And there was a leading actor in the company who was very British, very English, who had a kind of an attitude towards the Irish. Mm. He used to call us paddies and micks. Ah. And he thought that I shouldn't have this tiny little part as the doctor. I should be carrying a spear. Right. And he was so rude to me through the whole rehearsals, so rude you can't believe. Now, in the just the middle of the play, this English actor is playing Macbeth, the king. And at the center part of the play, the queen dies. He doesn't know she's dead. And I played the doctor. And I have to make my one appearance, and he stands as the king and says, how goes the queen? In his posh English accent. And I have to say, you must remember this now, I have to say, "The Queen, my lord, is dead." To which he now, that's his cue for the most important soliloquy in the entire play, which is, he responds and he says, "She should have died hereafter. Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace from day to day to the last syllable of recorded time." And he's been waiting to say this famous speech. And I think I'll get him back, all right. I'll fix him in the opening night. So suddenly it comes, and he comes out, and he stands with his crown, his beard, and he turns to me, and I enter. He says, "How goes the Queen?" And I say, "Ah, she's fine." She's about to get up now, and I'm making my engine fine, and she's great. And she'll be up and about in about 10 minutes, and she'll be right down and good. She's terrific.
Oh, that's marvelous.
And you can hear me, and you can hear me in the corridor shouting, "Taxi!" As I'm,
Oh, God, she's fine. She'll be up in about 10 minutes.
She's fine. She'll be up in about 10 minutes. She's perfect. And he stood there. What could he do?
Oh, but I imagine you never work that again. We'll be right back.
I've always wanted to tell you that.
She's fine.